First of all, let me just say you have clicked on the correct video. It is a woman talking about the struggles that men have that women want to know. Now, before I start, I just want to say that I never put anything out here without doing my research, without talking to men, without reading books, without really taking a deeper dive into the information that I'm putting out here. So I'm not just putting stuff out here. The reason why I'm giving you this disclaimer is because I actually created a reel about this very same topic, and some of the men on there went ham on me saying that I'm giving really bad advice. Don't do that. Don't listen to her, etc. But then as time went on throughout the day, I had a few men come on there and say she's giving really good advice. Again, I'm not just talking out of my rear end. I really do research the information that I'm putting out here, because if I'm giving bad information just so you can watch a video, then what am I doing here? I have struggled with relationships. I have struggled in being a part of a marriage. I gave my ring up, and I'm really saying that because I'm going to put this comment up there. Somebody said an old lady that doesn't have a ring on. Well, that's great. I'm glad that you said that. However, like I said, like I stated, I gave that ring back because that relationship was not right. And so because I have done my research and I've read several books about psychology in men, as well as spoken to several men about this very topic, I want to share this with you, specifically to the women, because a lot of women out there do not know this information and they're not privy to the types of conversations that I have with a lot of men. Because I am trusted by a lot of men, they really do open up and share the things that are really bothering them, i.e. keeping them up at night. And so without giving out their names, I just come here and share that information here with you. So without further ado, let's talk about, if you're struggling to understand your men, here's what he wants you to know. The first one is that a lot of men really do struggle to open up and show their vulnerability. Now, disclaimer, this is not across the board. This is not 100% of men. However, research backs me up to say that a lot of men struggle to open up and become vulnerable with their women in particular. Now, a lot of that has to do with the child rearing and the upbringing of most men. A lot of them really have dealt with and have heard their parent, their guardian, especially the men in their life, to tell them when they start crying as little boys to stop crying, stop acting like a little girl, man up, and all of these other macho male things that happens. And when this does occur, they shut down emotionally for fear of, because they don't want to hear what their father figures, male figures said back in the day. Now they're holding on to all of this stuff. Another thing that I'm witnessing is, if you're watching any type of reels, shorts, etc., whatever platform that you're on, what I'm noticing that some men, and what I've seen is black men, they are handing out flowers to other men. And then they give up a little note and then they walk away. But they show what the note said. Men across all ages are not feeling super safe, as safe as some men are claiming that they feel. And even in my Reels comment, they were saying something to the effect of, men talk to other men. That's not 100% true. It's just not. I've heard time and time again that some men do have those safe spaces and safe circles of other men that they can go and talk to. But there are a lot of men that do not. And they keep those things bottled up inside. So it's really hard for most men to open up and show their vulnerability, especially to their woman, because if they go to their woman and they say that they can't figure out the solution to said issue, then they actually look weak. And then on top of that, depending on the type of woman that they are with, she may have something negative to say, or where she no longer believes in him, or her trust level for him starts to decline. Men don't want that. I totally get all of that. I'm just sharing it here with you, specifically for my ladies, because we're trying to understand you guys more and more. And one of the ways to do that is to go to a credited source that's going to give you some correct information, and not just information just because I want you to click on a video and take in some content. It's not that serious for me. If this is not for you, if it doesn't resonate for you, I get it. It's cool. It's not for you. But there are plenty of men out there struggling because they cannot show up and share their vulnerability, not only with their wife, woman, girlfriend, fiance, but also in their friends circle. So check your circle. Make sure your brothers, specifically for the men, because you're watching these videos and you're commenting specifically for you. Check your homie that seems like he is the strongest in the group. Check on him to make sure he's actually okay and not just putting on a mask so he doesn't look weak in front of the crowd. The second thing that men want women to know is specifically when he is having an issue, to simply tell him, I trust you with whatever you come up with. And this is not saying that you trust him just for the sake of saying that you trust him. It's really you actually trusting your man that he will figure the thing out. Even if he comes home and he's not saying anything, we as women can absolutely read our men when something is wrong. We may not know as women what the thing is that is bothering our man in that moment, but we can absolutely see when something is off with our man, especially when we're in tune with him. If you can witness this with your man, then just let him know that you trust him. You trust what he's going to come up with and that everything will work out. Just basically reassure your man. The third thing your man wants you to know is literally to call him on his stuff. No man wants a woman that he is able to walk over all the time. Sure, there are some things that you should absolutely let slide. It's not the biggest thing. It's not a deal breaker. Move on with your life. However, when it is something that is breaking your moral values, then you should absolutely call him on his stuff. The thing about calling him on the stuff that a lot of women get wrong is that we talk in circles. We have a lot of details to add into what we're trying to get our man to understand. And by the end of that, he's really scratching his head like, what in the hell? Like, what am I to do with this information? Like, what was the main part that I'm supposed to take away and actually do something about? So instead of talking in circles, think about what you want to say before you go and have said conversation with your man, and then talk straight. Get to the point as soon as possible, as well as bring the facts in that you have, not the things that you're uncertain about. Only speak on the facts. Get straight to the point. So now he knows exactly what he's supposed to have an answer for and or work on. So talk straight, not in circles. Get to the point. The fourth and final thing to take into consideration is that men like to cuddle just as much as women. Men like to be touched as much as women. Men love to be complimented as much as you do. So think about complimenting him the next time that you see him, the next time that he walks into the room, and or you have to make sure that this compliment is genuine and cannot just be a fluff compliment thrown out there because he will be able to pick up on it. It cannot be a compliment that you want to say in that moment because you want something in return. It really just has to be something very genuine coming out of your mouth. And when you do these things, you will be able to understand your man a lot more, and you will feel better about it, because whenever you're able to give and give with an open heart, give not expecting anything in return, that is the best gift. And then you will actually see he will be able to open up to you more, because now you are turning the corner and actually creating a safer space for him to feel like you can be trusted with his deepest, darkest secrets / thoughts / problems, issues, the things that are keeping him up at night, the things that maybe he can't share literally with nobody else, including his homeboys, for fear of whatever, the judgment, the laughter. You can't do this, you can't do that, whatever the thing is. The final thing I'm going to say is I go and get my hair cut at the barbershop, not a beauty salon, at the barbershop. And so at the barbershop, I see men and how they speak to one another. Long story short, my barber was actually talking about how he is going to learn to be a pilot. Immediately when he said it, his homeboy was like, what the? Now, I go to a colorful barbershop, and so they had some very explicit words that I'm not going to say here, but they were literally just like back to back to back to back to back. Negativity, 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 negativity. Nothing was pouring into him. And then I started to ask more questions, like, when are you going to do it, and getting more details about it. And so he started to open up and share more with me. I left that day. We moved on with life. I went back about 3 weeks later, and I was like, hey, what happened to you becoming a pilot, and are you working on that? And he was like, oh man, I forgot that you was here that day. And I was like, yeah, I'm just checking up on it. No big deal, whatever. And so he was like, I was texting homeboy all day today. We've been going back and forth about him trying to get into training. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, I don't know if I believe though. And he whipped out his phone, and sure enough, him and the guy was talking about how to hit for what he needed to get into school and what's the next steps that he needs to take and everything. And I was like, did you share this with your homeboys? He was like, hell no. They would shoot me down. And so there's a lot of people that I want to prove wrong because I can't just say what I want to say. And now, some men do not feel safe telling their homeboys for fear of being judged or clowning them, saying that they cannot do the thing that they really want to do. Men want you to know and just ask more questions. I'm not saying back to back to back to back to back like it's an interview. No. But follow up. That's all I did was a follow up question. We ended up talking for a long time. He was very happy that that I asked him what was going on. And then he felt heard, understood, and appreciated. And isn't that what all of us want? Including your man. He wants to feel heard, understood, and appreciated, as well as, you don't even realize that little thing is creating a very safe space for him, where now every time I go into the barbershop, he got something new to share with me. And now his homies that work with him all the time are like, oh, I ain't know that. So, you struggling to understand your man? Here's what he wants you to know. Check out this video right here because it's going to let you know why when your man comes home, why he's so quiet. I'll see you over there.